What's going on, you guys? My name's Lloyd, giving you practical and actionable dating advice that really works, not some mainstream bullshit. So today we're going to be talking about why good-looking guys don't always get the girls that they like. Now, there's some good-looking guys that do great, but there are others that are dissatisfied with their dating lives, and the girls that they really want, they don't get. So why is this? Well, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down why these good-looking guys don't necessarily get the girls that they want all the time, and what are some practical steps that you can do to make sure that this doesn't happen to you. So basically this comes down to two major things, which are going to be points that I illustrate throughout of this. It comes down to insecurity, and it comes down to not taking the right kind of action. So to illustrate this point, I'm actually going to give you guys a story. So I don't know how good looking you guys think I am. I get comments from guys saying that, oh, of course this guy can get girls, he's too good looking, or this guy ain't getting no girls, he's too ugly. Like, make up your mind, people. But what a lot of my girls that I've slept with have told me, and a lot of my female friends, is that I'm probably somewhere around like a 7.5. If I'm your type, I'll probably be around there. If I'm not your type, I'll probably be, a lot lower. When I was younger, I used to think I was actually better looking than this. And my skills with women were way worse. I sucked. It really came to a crescendo with this story that I'm going to tell you. So I went to UCSB when I was in college, and at UCSB we used to have this bus that we used to go on, and it would take us out to downtown to all these bars and stuff. And so I got on this bus from campus, and I sat down next to this really, really hot girl. I sat next to probably an 8 out of the Santa Barbara 8 too. So I sit down next to this girl, and this other guy gets on the bus. This guy was short, maybe 5'2". He was Asian, and on top of that, he was ugly, okay? So didn't have a whole lot going for him in terms of appearance. So this guy gets on the bus, and I'm trying to talk to this girl next to me. I'm trying to we're talking, going back and forth, saying a few things. It's quite nice. And he gets on, and they start talking, okay? And I'm trying to compete for her, and it's pretty obvious that these two have never met before. So it's their first time meeting, and I'm trying to compete with this guy for this girl. And by the end of the bus ride, he's completely won. The girl is only paying attention to him. She's not even looking at me, and they get off the bus together, okay? So I don't see them. 4 or 5 hours later, we get back on the bus to go back home because the bars are closing. To go back to campus, the bars are closing, and they get back on the bus, okay? And they're making out and stuff. And then I see them get off the bus, and they're having a little bit of an argument because apparently she found out that she was making out with another girl in the club. But she still ended up going home with him it didn't matter, okay? So I'm supposed to be the guy that would have gotten that girl, right? I'm tall, I'm better looking. So why did she go for this guy and not me? And those thoughts were going through my head constantly, because that's what I thought at the time. And this was really the starting point where I stopped believing that looks were everything, okay? There's a lot of other things that you have to have going for you to do really well with women. And here's the reason why, okay? The reason why, and what I learned when I first started on this process, was that the girls that are gonna come up to you, sure, there might be some of them that you like and are cool, but if a girl's pursuing you, a lot of times she's below your mate value, okay? She likes you, but you don't really like her. A lot of the girls that do this, they might not be as attractive as you want them to be, or whatever the reason is, okay? And this happens to good-looking guys, because no matter how good-looking a guy is, a lot of the girls, or the majority of the girls that come up or that approach him, and I rarely get approached too, but the girls I do get approached by are girls that I don't want to talk to. But if you're a really good-looking guy, you get approached by a lot of girls, and I've seen this happen with a lot of my buddies. But a lot of these girls are not the girls that they want. And so they're frustrated because the girls that they have coming for them, they're not what they want. And at the same time, they feel entitled, which is exactly what I felt on that bus. I felt entitled to that girl because I was better looking than this guy, okay? You gotta get that shit out of your head. You are not entitled to anything. I don't care how good looking you are. I don't care if you look like fucking Brad Pitt. You are not entitled to a hot girl or to a girl that's really good for you. That's just not the way the world works. So they have this level of entitlement, and because of that, they don't want to actually go out and improve. And this brings me to my second point, which is that when they go up and actually talk to a girl, when they're actually trying to flirt with them or do whatever, they can't understand why the girls don't like them. They can't understand why it doesn't work. They don't have game. And because they've never exercised it, and they've just gone by this entitlement, and they've just, gone off of what they've what they've been able to get because people are a little nicer to them. Generally speaking, if you're a good-looking person, people treat you differently. They treat you a little bit better. And because you're used to kind of this separate treatment in life, you think that that's going to carry over and you're not going to have to work for the things that you really want. But if you really want a girl, then it is going to take some work, and it is going to take a level of flirtation. And if she can't feel sexy from you, if she can't feel that spark, if she doesn't think that you're interesting or you're a cool person, well, then she's going to move on to the guy who is. And that comes in developing your personality and actually having game, which takes work. Now, the problem with this with a lot of good-looking guys, which is going to bring me to my third point, which is a lot of them are really concerned with the way people perceive them, especially their friends or especially people around them. For some reason in this world, I don't know why it is, but we tend to perceive people that are good-looking to be cooler or to have it more together or to be, nicer or something like that. We tend to put them on this pedestal, okay? Especially with the way social media is with, Instagram and stuff. It's getting worse, okay? So people don't want to ruin the level, like this aura or mystique that they have behind them. They don't want to ruin like the perception that others have of them, which they usually assume that they're a really cool guy. And that might not be the case. Inside, they probably don't feel cool. They probably feel insecure. They probably feel like they're not good enough. They probably feel like there's something wrong with them. But they don't want to kill that level of perception by going out there and making a fool of themselves and actually going up and talking to the girl, okay? If a girl rejects them or if they look stupid at something, they're worried that the perception of them is going to be lower. Now, a lot of times you think you're going to be perceived a lot worse than you actually are, but at the end of the day, you really have to stop these feelings. And that's what it took for me. I had to stop telling myself that I'm a cool guy or something like that, because I wasn't getting any girls. I wasn't doing any of that sort of stuff. So I had to shed my pride, shed my ego, shed my entitlement, and actually start going out there and making mistakes and getting turned down and improving myself, okay? That's all part of the process. I might have slept with hundreds of women at this point in time, but I've been rejected by thousands. And if I cared about what other people thought, if I cared if my friends thought I looked dumb, if I cared if my, people I went to school with or people I worked with thought I was a loser or they made fun of me, then I wouldn't have gotten to the point that I am today, which is a man who's confident in himself, who can get the girls that he wants and is satisfied with his dating life. So if you're a good-looking guy out there and you have that problem, you really got to shed this ego and this, this aura or mystique that you have. Because the last point that I'm going to give, which is point number 4, is that because they're so insecure and they won't take the right kind of action, what they start doing is they start taking actions that, will give them some temporary success or will be easy for them. But ultimately, they don't actually give them the power of being good with women. And so they'll use things like Tinder, Bumble, all these dating apps, and so they'll get a lot of matches off them and they'll go on a lot of dates. I have friends that are super good looking that have they've literally gone on hundreds of Bumble dates or hundreds of Tinder dates and maybe only slept with a handful of girls from them, okay? And those girls that they did sleep with, or maybe they slept with a lot of girls, but most of them don't call them back, okay? They can't get a second date. And the reason why they can't get a second date is because once the girl starts talking to them and she realizes he doesn't have any personality, he doesn't have anything to him, he's not interesting, he doesn't make her feel sexy, well, then she's gonna move on to a guy like me who will make her feel that way. I'm telling you right now, like a lot of the guys who are even better looking than me in school, like, if we go out and they go after a girl and I go after a girl, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to be the one who wins. Sure, at the beginning, they're going to be wanting to talk to them, they're going to be paying attention to them, but as time goes on, they start realizing that I'm a better option. And why? Because I've been doing this a lot. I've been talking to people. I've been flirting. I've been practicing those skills that make me into who I am today. So if you can relate to this story, if you're anything like me when I was in college and, and there's a lot better looking guys than me, I'd say at least half of my clients are about as good, if not better looking than me. And a lot of them suffer from these problems. And so if you're a guy who feels like you're in this position, well, then it might be time to reevaluate how you're going after women. Because if you don't, you're probably just going to be ending up like one of those classic good-looking guys or classic guys that look like they have it all, where they just kind of settle for the girl who will stick around. And a lot of times they're dissatisfied with their dating life. Maybe they end up cheating on her. Maybe it doesn't work out down the line because it wasn't the girl that they picked. I don't want that shit to happen to you guys. I want you to be satisfied with your dating lives, whether you're good-looking, whether you're not good-looking. Okay, so if you're interested in learning more about that, shoot me an email, TheSingleGuy2017@gmail.com. Thanks a lot, y'all. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more videos. I come out with shit like this every single week. Good luck out there.